broadcasting live out of a basement in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. This is your first time tuning in. WCZR is an independent streaming rock station based out of Appleton, Wisconsin. You can listen to us at live.codezeroradio.com, find us on TuneIn, or download the app and listen to us wherever you are. Keep us in your pocket. My next guests are a blues rock band out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're fresh off a tour and a release of an album. I'd like to welcome Travis and Julian from the French-Irish Coalition back to Fox Cities Core. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing great.
Thanks for coming back. You guys just got off a pretty big tour. How was it to get out there and see the United States, as it were?
It was great. We did, with putzing around and all that jazz, we put on about 3,600 miles. Went out as far west as Colorado Springs, as far south as Wichita, Kansas, and as far east as, well, technically Jeffersonville, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, that, you know. But no, it was great. We brought, Bourbon Man with. We're rocking the Bourbon Man hats today because, so we can honor our bud, our bro, Pavel. And, but yeah, we brought him with, a heavy blues artist from Belarus. Technically made history. He was the first Belarusian blues musician ever come to America. So, yeah, every show we did was another piece of history, music history, and but yeah, it was great. We had a great time. Played with a lot of great bands, and just kind of did our thing. I think it tightened us up more than we've ever been tightened up.
I played 10 days straight, so my voice was perfect.
Yeah. I don't think especially the last few shows, I don't think we made a single flub in there. You know?
Not only that, but we actually had 2 shows where you were too sick.
I was quite ill, yeah. And I couldn't really sing, so we've been doing a lot more dueling vocals lately, and I was not up for that for 2 shows, but we made it through.
Whose idea was it to go on tour? One of you guys had to have the idea.
So we've been kicking this around for a while, but there is a funny story behind it.
And a song.
So we've been kicking this around for a while just because, you can only be, you can stay in Green Bay forever if you want, in your hometown, that is, but we've been talking about doing this for a really long time and just getting out there and trying to do something. And Bourbon Man, Pavel, started liking our stuff on Instagram, and my wife, Logan's, posts and stuff on Instagram of music and everything. And then when we found out that he was a musician, checked out his stuff. And it was really cool. I showed Julian, and we were just kind of talking about it a lot. And
when we found out where he was from, I think that was the most confusing part. Like, where's this guy from?
Oh yeah, Belarus. Like,
he looks like he's from the deep south.
Yeah.
He's got that vibe too, like it.
But then he sounds like Gogol Bordello picked up a cigar box guitar, and. So then one night, a friend Rossfire was over, and my wife and I like to play a game of let's drink a little too much rye whiskey and message other bands. And we were listening to Bourbon Man, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna message him right now. Like, it'd be great if he came over. That'd be so cool. Obviously, I just coming from a totally ignorant spot. I don't know anything about the country of Belarus. I had no idea there was some sort of political thing going on with that. I had no idea. So I was like, yeah, easy peasy. Just get a ticket. Let's go. And but I woke up the next morning to a message from him saying that he'd be interested in doing that, and he can try to get a visa. So we kind of started going that route, and there's a lot of entrapments when it comes to getting a international visa, period, let alone one from a country that America's not friendly with. And so I had to sponsor his visa, essentially. And
who, mind you, was a complete stranger.
Yeah.
That's kind of a scary thing to undertake.
This is a whiskey field invitation. Like, yeah, man, come to U.S. Come hang out with us. By the way, I don't know you.
Yeah, we were talking about that pretty extensively. Like, if you take one, like, not even a full step back, just a half step back, it's like, this is crazy. We met this guy online, we FaceTimed a few times and stuff like that, and then
to make sure he was real.
Yeah, we didn't want to get banned catfished.
Next episode, banned catfish
shows up and it's an acoustic singer-songwriter, like, son of a
So when he had to sponsor him, there's a lot of paperwork that's involved in that. Did it?
This was mostly, so I'll put sponsor in air quotes. So I had to write a letter to an embassy saying that I'm requesting his presence.
Which is kind of metal.
Yeah.
Dear embassy. Bring my, not quite friend.
How are you? Hope you had a good summer. So I had to write a letter to the embassy so that that the attorneys and stuff over there or whatever could just verify that he was legitimately going over, and he got an artist visa to come over to, or a cultural visa, I think is what they called it, so he could come experience America. And so
he sure did experience America.
Yeah, lots.
With him being on this tour, it kind of drove us to go, we'll just hit up the Midwest. But instead of just going there, we went as far as, we've seen Rushmore. We've seen the
Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods. Yeah, we went to Colorado. We got to see obviously Rocky Mountains, all these different landmarks that we were not used to seeing. We went to the West. And here's Travis and I, like, being the liaison of a place we live, but we've never been. And it was kind of neat, though. But he kind of drove us to do that. And without knowing him at all, we became pretty close friends. We kind of Americanized him for a moment, too.
Take me through meeting him for the first time.
Well, I picked him up from the airport in Chicago from O'Hare, and so I had waited there for a few hours while he was getting through everything and all that jazz. And I don't know. As soon as I saw him, he saw me. We came up, we gave each other a hug, and I was like, "Oh, how's your flight?" And then, like, we just started talking, and then we had a nice 3.5 hour drive back home. So we got initiated with each other pretty quickly, in the conversation. But I was a little worried because I talked to him a few times and everything, but I was a little bit worried, like, what if this guy's a jerk? I don't know him, like, what if we start talking and then he says something where I'm just like, oh no, and but no, he was great. He's if anybody out there looks him up, the Bourbon Man, like Julian said, he looks like a Southern hillbilly. He's called the Bourbon Man because he moonshines his own bourbon, and but he is actually an attorney by trade. He's a very well-educated person. He's a super nice guy and just an interesting cat. Pavel is, so. I was shocked when he said he was an attorney. I was like, I'm sorry, pardon my stereotyping or whatever, but, like, you don't look like an attorney.
So that was a pretty big deal for him to come over to the States. And was this his first time in the States at all, period?
Yep, first time ever in America, yep.
Oh, and then you guys lined up all the dates for the tour, so he didn't have to do anything except fly over here and perform.
Yeah, and pack up all of our stuff because he's a Tetris master.
I have pictures of, if it were just Travis and I, we'd probably still be out west right now trying to find out how to get all that stuff back in or leaving stuff behind. But we had the thing full to the brim, and it was, brake check would have killed us all. So if it wasn't for him, thank you, Pavel.
Yeah, thanks,
master.
bud.
Well, and you guys started off in Manitowoc.
Yep.
And went on for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
What's the farthest you went? Was it Wyoming, or did you go?
Colorado Springs is further. Yeah. Yep.
And who did most of the driving on that trip? Was it?
I did all the driving just because it was. I don't know. It was my van, and I put a topper on it, like, for extra storage and stuff, and that had a little bit of a, made the wind shifted around a little bit, and I figured, well, if anybody's going to crash this thing, it might as well be me. So,
fair.
So what's the thing about a tour that bands that haven't toured probably don't realize is an issue until you get on the tour?
We never planned where to sleep.
Never? Like in advance?
And we had a place to stay every night. In fact, one night we elected ourselves to actually get a hotel because we felt like we deserved it. And it was cheap, too. And when we got to the hotel, oh, man, it was like you remember that song, Whoop 'em Gangnam Style, however it goes? That was the theme of, well, at least the lobby. It had like crystal ball things on the ceiling.
Chandeliers, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. But slept real good that night. But yeah, every night we didn't plan where to stay. We would always get that waiting for the conversation that we'd always nod to each other like, hey, where you guys staying? I go, what? Nowhere, really.
Yeah, that's probably like hot tip for anybody. Plan out where you're staying. Truck stops are great. If you can park there and sleep in the van or whatever. Luckily, we never really had to. We just had to, play, and then eventually somebody would be like Julian just said, like somebody would be like, where are you staying tonight? I'm like, I don't know, like, want to come over? Like, share. And
dice roll to new friends, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Vanessa and John and the dudes from Primer. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, guys from Primer. Thanks.
Did you have any bad experiences staying at anybody's place?
Not really. No. It was just, yeah, I mean, if you don't mind couch surfing, like I can sleep anywhere, so it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, no, I think it was, probably one or two nights we probably just stayed up a little too late, where it was just like, all right, we gotta go.
Where we were their problem.
Yeah. Can you read me a story?
How did you prepare as far as merchandise? Obviously, you wanted to take a lot of stuff. You're going to be playing in front of a lot of people that have never seen you before.
My wife and I went on a 2 or 3 day. Well, actually, it was a couple weeks really. So I do screen printing at home, and I found out that I'm terrible at it. Everything turned out good, but I was doing everything the wrong way, and I had made things work prior, so I was like, oh yeah, just do it like this. And
that's because you threw away the instructions.
Yeah. Oh no. And so I'd made things work prior, but this really forced me to really look into it and study it and figure out what I'm doing wrong. And I had to reach out to some friends. Billy from Skinny Buddha Tattoo. He does some screen printing. He really helped me out. Him and his buddy Brandon. And then just YouTube stuff. But so yeah, I actually made screen printed. What did I do? 60 shirts for us, front and back, and then I did all of Bourbon Man's merch as well, because shipping costs or trying to put that in luggage and everything was crazy. And then Logan made these nice Bourbon Man hats, and but so yeah, we got the albums in, the CDs. Then I made all these T-shirts, and yeah, so we prepped up pretty good, but there's probably easier ways to do it, like ordering from somebody. But I was like, nah, we got it, we're good.
So how much of that did you come back with? How much went out the door?
We actually got a lot out the door. We got a lot out the door, and we have a suitcase and a backup suitcase. The main suitcase was pretty much empty. We had to keep refilling. So I mean, like, we did good. We did pretty well with that. Pavel did a very good job too. He left with, I think he had only like 3 T-shirts left and a couple hats. Hence why we got a couple. Well, he said we were going to get them anyway, but still.
He signed mine. Did he sign yours?
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of talk about merchandise. We talked to Amelia Ford, Kurt Gunn, Michael Grabner, Tom Thiel, Lacey from Trash Pandas, and then it's come up about taking digital payment. Were you guys taking cash only, or were you taking?
Oh, we took digital payment as well. And
does that seem to be the bulk of what you're doing business with?
I wouldn't say the bulk, but a good chunk nowadays,
maybe a third.
Yeah, about a third. Yeah, that sounds about right. Between Venmo and PayPal. And we have, like, I do the PayPal, then he does the Venmo. So then if, like, I'm running the merch, we had a system with fanny packs for that. It actually worked out really well. So, like, thanks Logan and Reddit, I guess, for saying, like, get fanny packs, and then one person's in charge of all the money while the other people are on stage, and we would just flip flop. And But then if somebody's like, "Oh, do you have Venmo?" I'd be like, "Julian, over here." And then if it was PayPal, like, "Travis, come over here." Okay. So we could probably figure out a better system for that. But
we made a joke because my phone was Face ID, like the 2-face authorization. We're like, maybe if you look at it, it'll unlock. Look into it, and I would get it. But yeah, the digital side seemed to be a lot more convenient for some because, I don't know, whenever I go to a concert or whatnot, I try to have cash on me, but I'd rather not. You know, we'd all have our cell phones on us, and that seems to be the way to go. But yeah, merchandise, that's a way to really pay. We made more money selling things than we did for some shows because being every single day playing, like you play on a Monday and a Tuesday, those aren't really bank days. I mean, those aren't days that people go out. So, but we made up with selling merchandise, which is nice, and then keeping the cost of production down low by having Travis and his sweatshop make them.
Yeah, no, you have to be prepared to. You have to be prepared to be a little disappointed every now and then. Like, I mean, Laramie, Wyoming on a Monday. I didn't know what the expectations were, but I mean, that was actually a fairly decent crowd considering it's Laramie, Wyoming on a Monday, you know? Like, we
met some friends there that came just for a moment and they stayed to watch us all and with Pavel too, with doing his Bourbon Man thing. But what was interesting is that there's another musician there that was playing the next day at some other festival.
Johnny V.
Yeah, Johnny V there. We stayed at the same place that he was at and we got to get to know people of the area, but with Wyoming having such a small population, we made a joke that half the state was there.
What's that?
How did you book the tour? We just found out which route you're going to take, and
lots of phone calls, lots of emails, lots of Instagrams, and
so for example, the Rapid Cities, you saw that it was on the route you're traveling, and then you just Googled like what venues were in that city and then started calling and emailing?
Yeah, so the thing with Rapid City specifically was we wanted to play Minneapolis, and Cindy Lawson, who's rock and roll's greatest sweetheart, got us in contact with Dusty's. Actually, that was Monet, but Cindy was the one who started the process. Either way, Mad Mojo Jet and Cindy Lawson said, yeah, let's get a show together. And so we had Minneapolis down. And then I was like, okay, well, we're going to keep going west. Where's next? And then my good friend Brian Hoffman, who lives presumably inside the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. No, he lives just outside Mitchell. But he plays a lot in Rapid City, and he said, "Here, talk to Natasha. She'll hook you guys up with a show."
There was a cave.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be by like the front of a cave. They have like a stage set up, and then behind it there's a door, and you go down into a cave where there's literally a human skull down there because they found a body down there when it's crazy. But due to, I don't know if it was due to weather concerns or what the deal was, but we ended up moving it into town, into Rapid City. So because this was like in the mountain, in one of the mountains, and then the cave and everything. It was a pretty nuts setup that I was pretty excited for. But yeah, that's how that just started from there, and then kind of.
It's like our own version of the movie Garden State, and big boy to scream into. It was really neat. Like, hey, you want to see the cave? Like, yeah, man, let's go see the cave. Turn on all these like lights, and you come walking down these like dark stairwell, and it's like 90 degrees outside, and you're literally on a mountain or the side of a cliff, and you go into this cave, and it's cold and freezing down there. It just gets more narrow and narrow, and it's just there was like, yeah, bands used to play here and whatnot. They have this like big area set up for other bands. It was neat, and the flyer for the show that we had. Natasha just like drew pictures of our bands and wrote them out and put them on this like cigarette machine. I took like a selfie in front of it. I'm like, oh, that's the one. And then we had another band that was behind us. What was that?
Oh, Sensor Ghost.
Yeah, Sensor Ghost. They took a selfie next to that same cigarette machine with all this on there. It was still on there.
Yeah, Sensor Ghost. They're on Discord Records. They're fantastic, from great DC band, like really cool angular. I won't call it rock, but angular music. Very very cool. But they hooked up with Natasha as well, and so they were kind of following us, not literally, you know what I mean, but like where we played, they were kind of playing about a week behind, and I was like, oh, that's cool,
Who did we follow technically?
and we were following Teen Mortgage basically, you know. So Teen Mortgage, wherever Teen Mortgage played, that's kind of where we ended up, and then Censor Ghosts ended up where we were, and it was pretty crazy.
Oh, where is it? We were doing the sticker tag, you know, when you go in like those bathrooms, you put your sticker in, but like sticker, put it. Every time they had a sticker in the bathroom, I'd put ours right next to it. Bourbon Man would put his by it. I'm like, sticker tag. It was fun.
Was it kind of weird to see the venue after scoping them out online, and all of a sudden you're hitting them up, you're actually physically there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because that was so planning it all out was difficult, but it wasn't that difficult. So going back to like the whole tips for bands who want to go out there, and I mean, like, just do it. I mean, it's not. I know I hate when people say that, because like just doing it doesn't give you any instruction. So I'm Shia LaBeoufing everybody here. Just do it. And but yeah, no, send a couple messages out and make a couple phone calls, shoot a couple emails out. Some people will get back to you, some people won't. Some people will hate your band, and they will never get a hold of you, and that's fine. You have to be able to deal with rejection. That's fine too.
But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky hockey. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, and we ended up getting some really cool shows, and some really cool venues, and then some people helped us out, like Manis Brothers, in St. Louis, and that show was, a packed place, good spot.
Speaking of the Manis Brothers, was it July 14th, the Tarlton Theater?
Yeah.
I think they're playing there.
Yeah.
I think we're playing there.
I think we might be playing there as well.
That's your next show.
Whiskey the Devil. I think they're playing there,
I believe they are.
Who's headlining?
Actually, I think Whiskey and the Devil is. But it's Leslie Jacobs and the, oh my gosh, Collins Band. Colin
Palooza.
Colin Palooza 2, The Swamp.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
That was more difficult than it seemed.
You probably should have been easier. I didn't know you were going there, and now
How are the scenes different? Traveling through these cities, how are the scenes different compared to the Green Bay, Appleton area? Were there a lot of similarities in the scenes? Were they a lot different than you expected?
We're spoiled. We really are spoiled. People come out to shows. We played a show in St. Louis, and we were being told it was a good turnout. Not that we're like, oh, that wasn't good. It was good. It was fun. People were there, but like
lots of people.
People didn't really look at the band when you were playing. They kind of stood in this off room. So it's like a delineated room that had the band section, and then there's a window outside, kind of like at the tracks. Like when you're at the tracks, there's that window, but it just shows the road. This had like a party deck outside. And then there's a back area where there's people too. And people listen to the music, but they don't want to stand in front of it. They just want to like hang out by wherever they are and listen to the music. And that's good enough for them. And that's interesting, because where we're at, people, you go to concerts, you want to be like right up there front, cheering and having a good old time. But we're spoiled.
I think it kind of speaks to just where like Green Bay in particular is built on. Besides like cover bands and stuff like that, but it made its name for being punk rock, and everybody is very enthusiastic and very excited to see the music right up front and being personal and stuff. And so I don't know, but these other cities, I don't know what they're built, what their typical thing is, but so I attribute it to that. The Green Bay, Appleton to an extent as well. They're just Fox cities, like Oshkosh. People get right up front with you too, but people around here, it's all punk rock, and you don't experience punk rock sitting in the back going, oh yeah, cool, and that, like that's not a bash on anybody that we played in front of, but
it's just a different feeling. Like people will go to listen to music by sitting and enjoying it, while like we're used to like
I mean, while Bourbon Man was playing in St. Louis, the bar was. Everything was packed except right in front of the bands. There was at least 15 feet between the bands and any person, and while Bourbon Man was playing, there were people dancing in the bar and everything. They were having a good old time, but they just weren't right there, which is interesting because like I always like it when people are right up front. I get energy from that. You know, you want to play to those people and stuff. But at the same time, like as long as you know people are enjoying it, well,
it's all that matters.
Yeah. Actually, that being said, I also don't particularly care if people are enjoying it. Sometimes that's fun too. Sometimes that's great when people think you suck. And you're like, yeah, all right, well, here's the next one.
Yeah, right.
Were you guys headlining most of the nights? Or was Bourbon Man, or did you switch off?
We kind of switched off between locals. Bourbon Man closed one night. Yeah, closed one night, and then we closed probably 6 out of the 10.
Yeah.
5 or 6 out of the 10, and then, but you know, the way you try to get it, you know, traveling band gets middle spots, sort of thing. Kind of there's punk rock etiquette. Just because it usually has the biggest crowd is in the middle. But then you want to try to get a local favorite to play at the end, so you know people will stick around for that because they know who you are.
Did you guys stick around every night till the very end?
Oh yeah, we definitely weren't like, all right, pack her up, let's boogie.
Well, especially if you didn't have a place to stay yet.
Oh yeah, we had to go beg on the corner.
Sir, there's like a cup that says "place to stay." Like,
please, sir. No, we definitely checked out everybody. We had a great time in Jeffersonville, which was we had to move venues because we just lost communication with the venue we were supposed to play in Louisville, and I'm not going to name names, but they stopped talking to us. We lost communication, and so about 2, and also the we had another band that was supposed to join us. We procured that because that seemed to be how they were leaning, where it's like if you can get another local band or whatever. I'm like, okay, great. So we got this band called Southmouth. They are fantastic. Check them out, please. How you boys doing? So Southmouth was fantastic, and they jumped on with us. And so I emailed the venue, and they were like, okay, great. Well, we added these 2 other bands. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how we're getting paid yet. So if it's the door, now we're splitting 5 ways, and that's kind of not great. Not that you want to think about the money, but you kind of have to if you're like
kind of far from home.
You're kind of far from home, yeah. And when you're more than 3 hours away from home, you have to figure out how you're getting back, you know. And so I was like, well, okay, maybe that's just how they do it there, whatever. And like 2 days, it was 2 days. I think it was in Wichita. We got messages from two of these bands saying that like, yeah, we were never asked to play, so what's going on? You're tagging us in these videos and this and the other thing. I'm like, oh, great. And I was lucky enough to just get on the horn right away. Well, I sent them a message. I gave it a day to settle. And then the next day I got a hold of another venue that was like, yeah, come on in. They were having like a Peaky Blinders party. And we were like, well, can we crash it? And we'll bring some bands. They're like, yeah, let's go. Like, okay, cool.
That place is my favorite.
That was awesome.
They had this mural in the mirror with like a hat and a cigar, and you go up and pretend you're a crooner.
It's hinting the show from right I Think You Should Leave. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm back.
But so that place was great. That was I was feeling a little bit of exhaustion pulling in there, just because I was finally feeling better from being sick, but then it was just like, you know, it was day 8. That was day 8 or 9. That was day 9 already, actually. Yeah. And so I was just like, oh man, this a couple more days and stuff. Not that I was like hanging out with this guy, and we were together all the time. So great.
Julian, were you afraid of getting sick?
I was actually sitting in the far back of the van, just like I made my own like tin foil. Actually, I'm usually the one who gets sick right away, and I don't know if it was because of the toning of the voice or whatnot, but I never got sick. Been the whole tour, so that was good. And I feel bad because Pavel and Travis both became hoarse, and Travis got to a point where he couldn't even sing. And if I can't sing, now what?
Yeah, right.
So
yeah, no, we lucked out there for sure. But walking into wrong side. It's called Losers 812 or Wrong Side 812. Kind of depends on how you look it up. But like it's a great little place in like divey place. Great stage setup though. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was like half outside. Like what is it? I don't know what divides the two, but Was it Kentucky on the other side?
Yeah,
Kentucky,
this was in Jeffersonville, Indiana, but
Yeah.
like it's underneath the bridge that as soon as you go over the bridge, you're in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And the KFC like building was like right there too.
yeah. But
I kind of expected that. It's like their arch.
Yeah, no, it was great though. We walked in, and like I said, I was feeling a little exhausted, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm at home with this dive bar. I love this." Just talking to the guys, both the bartender and the bouncer. I don't know what he was, but both of them reminded me
Just
of
cool dudes, man.
cool dudes.
Two cool dudes.
They reminded me of our friend Marcus, and it's like, oh man, it's like being home. Great.
It was very welcoming.
Well, you guys had the van to travel in. You hear a lot about bands getting robbed when they're on tour. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the van is sitting, if you're at somebody's house, I don't know if you brought your equipment inside or not, but was there any fear of losing any gear on the
We
tour?
brought a Belarusian.
Yeah. We were protected, well protected. No, I that was obviously across my mind, but we were never parked very far away from where we were, so, and any place we stayed, we were luckily either in the middle of nowhere, like Warrensburg, Missouri, or in a pretty nice neighborhood where we didn't have to worry about it, St. Louis, I had heard from the guys from Primer. They're like, yeah, lock up your stuff in St. Louis, and we got there and like, this neighborhood's great. And then we stayed at Bruiser Queen's house, Jason and Morgan, and their neighborhood was also very nice. So we're like, didn't have to worry about anything. So Chicago, same deal. Where we played and where we stayed were just nice. So I don't know. We didn't really experience anything like that, but like, it was a concern, but it was just like, there's usually one of us is either in the van or around the van. So,
Yeah.
that was kind of the hot tip there.
We didn't really look like a band van. It didn't look like a van that had expensive things in it either. Like we didn't have a mural of band stickers. We didn't have anything saying, "Hey, we're a band."
You didn't put a picture of your guitars and your pedals on the side?
In fact, we did the opposite. We wrote "free candy" on it. No one looked the other way.
I just put my most recent bank statement in the window, and they went, "Oh, this guy has no money."
He owes them money.
Well, you guys mentioned the show in Green Bay in a couple weeks. You guys were also mentioned for playing Mile Music this year. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I put on the shirt today
nice.
in honor of that. But how does it feel to finally get asked to play Mile of Music?
Finally, we're smiling for the milin'. I don't know. I just made that up.
Yes.
No, that's it's fantastic. I'm super, super happy, and our good friends in Hero Junior are playing as well, and they've been super, super kind to us, and I'm just glad to get to Mile, and we got a Saturday, Sunday gig. We don't know what time yet or anything. I know they're doing all the listings right now, but yeah, super, super happy to do that, and I've seen some amazing bands just going to Mile Music or playing Mile Music in the past, and I've been pushing for French Irish to get on there for a few years now, and now we finally kind of
Travis,
broke through.
You have a little experience with Holly and the Nice Lions playing.
Yeah,
Is this Julian's first time?
Yep, first time playing.
That's awesome, exciting.
He'll hold my hand.
Yeah, it's okay.
Was there any wish list places that you're hoping you get announced for Saturday and Sunday?
The bar would be cool.
Yeah.
The bar or like the outside at. We don't typically do outside shows.
I feel like you're naming both places Holly and the Nice Lions played last year.
Well, that's
one.
true. That's actually true. The outside, you're right. The Hilton Courtyard, that one was great. But it was super fun, and there's just a ton of people, and it was just a good vibes. But I saw the Prigs at. Was that the place next to the Dirty Leprechaun, or was that at the Dirty Leprechaun? They had an outside stage. It was just like a really cool area. I really liked that.
Was that Flanagan's? Or
was it Yeah.
Was that the Prigs or was it Hang 10?
No, it was the Prigs. This is
way
back. Yeah,
way back.
Yeah. And that was the year that Maddie ended up doing 12 different sets or something like that. Yeah. So
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. He was going for it that year. But yeah, that would be cool. I don't remember where it was. I just remember I had to elbow my way in. The Ghost Wolves played this one spot. Yeah, this was probably 2016, 2017, when they were coming up here a lot. And I had to get in there just to see it. But there was like a long middle bar, and Carly like jumped on the middle bar and was going through it was awesome. Thoroughly. I don't remember where it was exactly. I just remember the look of the inside.
Gibson Music Hall?
Maybe it was Gibson.
They've got like a little middle bar back in the back.
You're right. That was Gibson. That's because then I believe that's where Jason Bank was standing in line from Bronze Sage, and then there was a lady in front of him that said like, "Oh, were you here last year?" Like, "Oh, did you see that band Bronze Sage?" And he was like, "Oh," and they're like, "Yeah, it was the most boring show I've ever seen." And he was like, and he said, "Thank you," but Ghost Wolves actually helped with this tour a little bit. Johnny helped me out because that's the nice thing about being around other bands a lot and just getting kind of like-minded people is that you can kind of lean on them a little bit. Not that I'm gonna go knock on their door like, help me out.
But us two-piece bands stick together.
Yeah, us two-piecers. We all have each other's phone numbers. That's what they don't tell you.
Yeah, Ghost Wolves. You mentioned the St. Louis
Manus Brothers.
Brothers.
Left Lane Cruiser. Yep. 20 Watt Tombstone. Yeah, we're all. It's like Cruiser a guild. Yeah, this isn't a wedding ring. It's to unlock the door to get into the special club room. No, I hit him up because we were actually originally thinking about going to Amarillo, Texas, where I can connect two things here. So it's originally thinking about going to Amarillo, Texas after Colorado Springs is about a 5-hour drive instead of Wichita, which is 7 hours, and that's kind of daunting. So I messaged Johnny from Ghost Wolves, and I was like, "You're in Texas. Have you ever played Amarillo? What's that scene like?" And he first was kind of like, I don't know, if you're playing there on a Wednesday, whatever, it's a Wednesday stop, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. And like an hour later, he sends me just this list of reasons why you should not play Amarillo, Texas. And I was like, okay. And he said, just go to Wichita, you're gonna have a way better time. Like, okay, cool, sounds good. But I was also just on the search for venues in Amarillo, and Reddit was my best friend for this whole thing. Reddit is great. I never was on it before. Like, I don't think I've ever clicked on it in my life. And then my wife was like, "Did you check Reddit?" And like, I'll check it out. And now I'm like, this is fantastic. But anyway, I was looking for venues in Amarillo, and I saw this band looking for the same thing. And I clicked on it and reading through, and they're like, "Well, here's my band for reference," or whatever, and it was Julia Blair. So I messaged her like, "Hey, did you ever find a place in Amarillo?" And we went back and forth a little bit about that, and basically, she had said that our type of music probably not good for where they were going or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." It looked like just like a little like coffee house listening room thing, not little, but you know what I mean, and. So that was just a weird coincidence,
Does this
hear some angry blues music?
Does this whet your appetite to go do another tour?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah. No, I got.
Where would you go next? East
Coast for sure. We have some friends. Yeah, Detroit. I go to Detroit for sure, and we have some friends. I almost said Uncle Cracker. We're friends with Uncle Cracker.
Uncle Cracker?
We were friends with... Never mind. King Cackle is what I meant to say.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they're in Charleston, right?
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah. And so we would like to hit them up and go that way. And then Indianapolis has always been really good to us, so we could stop along the way there. My wheels were already turning when we got back, and we're like, what the hell? I map out the next one. Definitely not doing 5 to 8 hour drives like this one.
That was 8.5 hours.
Yeah, good thing we went backward in time. We crossed the time zone for that. Otherwise, we probably would not have made that in a decent shape.
There was a moment where we had no cell service. We had to entertain ourselves and listen to the same Spotify songs 4 in a row over and over again.
Yeah.
We're just like making videos. So on this whole tour, we tried to make a music video out of it too with the footage, which we had probably like 16 hours worth of me
Lots.
doing the mom moment going, It was good. It was good.
Well, and that's you just released that today. It's called "If I Get Back."
Yeah.
So
in
who-
honor of the interview here.
Yeah.
Who did all the editing of that?
I did. Yeah.
Travis.
Yeah. Julian took a bunch of video, and his camera's better than mine. Also, Julian's just really good with the camera. He's got a good eye for it. I don't. I'm very straight on with stuff. Like, I know the rule of thirds. I know this stuff, but I don't ever use it. I'm just like, hey, smile. I don't know. And remember when I took that picture for that family in Garden of the Gods? And I just took a picture of them.
said in broken English, "Can you take a better one?"
and they're like, the mountain's not behind us. Like, oh, sorry, I'm dumb. Anyway, but yeah, no, editing. I can do some editing. So I took a bunch of the videos and just made a fun compilation of little travel, the compilation sort of a thing, and then I synced it up with a performance of the song, and that was interesting because you have to do the frame rate and all that jazz. Set everything to 29. But it was also the fact that we were playing that live. We don't use a click track or anything. So we have Butch Vig was doing an interview about the push-pull that Smashing Pumpkins would have, Jimmy Chima and Billy Corgan. And we have the same thing where we the tempo varies, from verse to chorus because we're, I'm not a robot. I can keep decent time, but like we're going to sway a little bit depending on how we feel. And which is nice. I don't mind having that. There's no rhythm section to keep us in line, and I kind of like that freedom. But for editing a video to a song that was recorded that we kept really good time on, it's not the best. So I had to do a lot of cutting and slowing down and this and the other thing. But what's really great is when you cut away from something, it gives you a good spot to start over again. So. But yeah, just tried to get as much of the other bands that we played with in there as an homage to them because they were all great. I mean, everybody we played with was really, really fantastic, and I kind of wanted to give them a shout out. And not that we're famous or whatever, that this is gonna hurdle them to the next level or anything like that, but it's just nice. I like it when we get a shout out from somebody saying that they think that we're good or cool or whatever, even if they say we're just nice boys. But like the guys from Southmouth and everything, they put us up and their band was great. So
The Blood Daubers
or
Black Mariah Theater.
Yeah. They're all fantastic. So I was like, why not give them a little shout out while we're in here,
Yeah, almost every band that we played with is on there, and then all the travel videos. Like I said, there's like 16 hours of stuff that we had. We were in St. Louis. We did this joke. I think I put it on TikTok where me and Travis play a game called East Side West Side, where we go right underneath the arch and we jump from side, just go East Side West Side, back and forth, back and forth. But just some of the funny things. There's one where you have was it a raccoon or a fox
it's a
pelt?
Skinned raccoon.
Yeah, and he's using it as a puppet. But so when we watch the video, we laugh, but it's very esoteric. So I'm hoping the viewers too also can feel that kind of fun, hang out vibe of going on tour. Right. Honestly, if you're a band and you feel good about yourself and your music, test it out other places. You'll be surprised how much fun it is. Some nights you won't make a whole lot of money, but hey, you did it. You went there.
And bring a Belarusian with you. And just the point of the song, it lends itself to the tour in general. It's kind of a calling out of, or crying out of, we gotta get out of here. We gotta do something. This was kind of like if I get back to Green Bay, if I ever get back here, sort of a thing. There was a moment, and this is not us putting Green Bay down or putting anybody in Green Bay down, but there was just a moment of, what are we doing? Felt like we were spinning our wheels a little bit, anytime we try to put something out, it takes too long. Anytime we play, we would play and it would just be kind of like, well, this is great and this is fun, but it's always, I love seeing these same people, but it's always the same people in the same place. And you're just like, man, what are we doing?
There's an irony when we were playing in a town like that. Like the first time we ever played like Chicago or like, or like the, wherever we were
Live Wire
or whatever, or Liars Club, whatever. I kept telling Travis, I'm looking at the door expecting someone I know to walk in. Like, oh, no one's here. You know, like that feeling was interesting. But yeah, no, the song is about literally saying if I get back home to play, just because we kind of wore it out, you know, like we're playing all the time and we weren't like headlining shows anymore. We weren't really doing anything and we were just stuck. And then all of our bands that we associate with are like, oh, you guys never left? Like, not really.
You know, and that's and that's really really cool of especially a lot of the more recent bands for getting out there, and like you've had Trash Pandas on and stuff, and they're all over the place, and that's really cool. You know, so we're, you know, just one of those things like we could do this, we can get out here, and that kind of like helped the decision to, you know. So our emotion at the time was like we really want to get out, you know. And then we made it happen, but now we're really trying to.
Stick a fork in it.
Yeah, stick a fork in it.
I got way behind on comments because for some reason I didn't see the comments that were coming. But Lacey was watching. This is referencing way earlier. It says fanny packs save lives. Can't steal from a fanny pack.
It's impossible.
Something that she talked about when she was on the show, that she actually was doing fanny packs because you couldn't steal that way.
Yeah.
Squid, great guys, great musicians.
Thanks, Squid.
Hey, Squid.
Shelby, of course. She said there isn't enough room for pictures of all of his guitars and pedals. I think I was talking about putting stuff in the van windows. And Janelle, who does a really good job of posting when there's shows and things going on in the Fox Cities area, said D2. So I think she was referencing either a Mild Music venue to play maybe where you were talking about.
It was D2, wasn't it? I bet you it was D2. Okay, yeah.
Thanks Janelle, for clearing that up. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And actually, AJ also said D2. So
okay, there we go. I think we got a consensus.
Shane Tapp, two-piece bands are rad.
Yeah.
And lots of indie in here in the heart. So
yeah.
There we go. Thank you for the comments. And if anybody's got a comment or a question, still have a little bit of time, so get it in. Why did you guys decide to release an EP and then release an album with that EP instead of just putting out another EP?
I don't know. It felt like we were building something with that, and we wanted to get the collection of those songs just together.
We released an album in 2010. We had these songs that we were like building an album for. We actually technically have like 30 songs for that album, but we kind of selected the ones that we wanted. And we did the EP, and it was like hey, we have nothing else. Like, people think we sound like the 2010 album. Let's prove we don't, because we were getting typecasted as like a folk band or sometimes. So with that being said, we had to say, no, we're kind of more of a harder rock and roll band. So we put that out to push, and then drop of a hat, we just finally said, hey, let's just do it. And we already had the album artwork done like about a year and a half ago, and just for timing wise, we wanted to release it as an album, so it's like more of a time capsule collective. So
yeah. And speaking of that artwork, Patrick Metoxen, he did a fantastic job on both of the albums now. Yeah, he did the first and the second, and then Jake Phelps did all the design. He did a really great job, because I was trying to do it, and I apparently cannot. And but no, he did a really cool job making it all really look good. But it was really just a matter of getting all these songs together to complete the picture, you know, and then now that's complete, then we can move on. So maybe we'll actually, within the next year, we can get another EP or album, or maybe album out, but we'd like to get the next batch of songs out there, and this time probably in a little more a quicker fashion, just because I think we got a lot on our minds now, especially after hitting the road, and we just want to keep it up, you know.
Question for you, or for us. Should we put that on like some plastic vinyl? Should we do that?
I mean, that'd be great. We're looking. I hit a couple people up. I'm out there. I'm shopping out there, seeing if anybody wants to pick us up. Romanus Records. I hit them up. The Manis brothers told me to hit them up. And the guy who runs it comes up to Mile Music every now and then. I don't know if he still does, but he used to. He signed like a lot of people from Mile Music. So That'd be cool. Well, I mean, I'm not, putting my eggs in a basket just because I sent a guy a message or anything like that, but like, it's actually happening. No, I said it on YouTube and now it has to happen.
we got more music though coming up though. So this is the end of that chapter for that. The Ten Swords is done. We got something else coming up. We got some new songs in the mix that we're not going to play until we release it. So
yeah,
that's where we're at. We're looking at the next year, maybe a year and a half, depending. But we're getting the ball rolling, playing, touring, recording, writing.
Well, you guys had a lot of energy the last time I saw you play at the Ambassador, and of course,
that was a great show.
Yeah, and you're playing with a lot of different bands in the area. Now you can take that mentor role and
right,
help.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of some of the younger bands from the Green Bay and the Fox Cities area. Do you feel like you're in that next phase of a generation above now that you've been playing together for so long?
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind that. I had a moment right before we left where it's like, man, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm getting old. Like am I ready to do this and stuff like that? And then I thought about it more. And it's like, yeah, I don't feel old, so I might as well
actually
keep going.
the younger of most musicians we play with.
And a lot of people in our kind of genre, that's what the Manis brothers said too. Is they play with like Left Lane, and like, oh, it's you young kids keeping it alive. It's like we got kids and we're in our 30s, dude. So it's not like we're young, But I actually like that because I dislike tribal knowledge. I don't like the fact that somebody can keep something secret, and just go like with like booking or doing this or that or like, going out on the road, and it always felt so out of reach, always felt like somebody had the secret, but it wasn't me,
Not only that, but like other bands are competition. You're working together.
Yeah. Well, Cindy Lawson, again, rock and roll's greatest sweetheart. She, when we started talking about playing in Minneapolis, she actually sent me an Excel file, on Google Drive or whatever, that had a bunch of listings of places to play, who runs them, their phone numbers, stuff like that. And I said, wow, you're actually giving this to me? And she's like, well, it's not a secret. You should know this too. Like, this is, you should know, you should have every opportunity I have. And I said, that's so cool. And she shared it with, I think there was like 2 or 3 other bands that she had that shared with. So it went from probably like 20, I think it was probably 20 to now it's got tabs of every state because I shared it with a bunch of other bands. And we've just been adding and adding and adding. And so now this is kind of creating a collective of bands from all over the country that can, get a little help, give somebody a holler if they need to,
The next part I want to do with that is like kind of subgenre too, like because some are coffee shops. If you're like a loud metal band, don't play at the coffee shop. Just like I was looking at the list too, like just kind of modifying it and of course sharing with others. Just give that open opportunity because we should all have that. Yeah. It shouldn't be more of a who you know thing. Let's have it like if you're good at what you do and you love what you do, you should have all the opportunity in the world to do it.
Right.
We had a comment, Colin.
Oh.
Colin said, friggin' homies right here. I love you, Travis and Julian. So
this friggin' guy. This friggin' guy over here.
Colin's going to be on pretty shortly. He's going to be talking, he manages this crazy band, Champagne and the Carlos Champagne and the Balcony Brothers. So that's
I know the legends are coming back to Mile of Music from what I heard. They had to wake them up from some sort of drug-induced coma, from what I heard. So, I hope that they can stay upright. That's gonna be exciting though. To see the legends right there.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys played any of the Wheeze Fests or any of those events?
We haven't played Wheeze Fest yet, right? But that's a super fun. Like that crew of people is so fun to me. I love the fact that there's.
Could you guys cover? Could you guys play Weezer?
Could we cover? We could cover a Weezer song.
We could do a genre take on a Weezer song.
Yeah,
we totally could.
Do shuffle beat it.
Shuffle beat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's with these homies?
Can I do the backup part?
Half-hour drive home. Yeah. My favorite song is "In the Garage."
"In the Garage" is a good one.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Well, so who are some of the younger up and coming bands that you'd suggest people look into?
Around here, or obviously Elmer Glucan, they're great.
And Ben does a lot for the scene around here.
Yeah,
He's kind
for
of an
sure.
unsung hero.
Yeah. Ben does a lot. You know, the show at the Ambassador, he booked that, and that was a fantastic show. I can't believe how many people were there and how many people were dancing. You know, so we were having a great time. What's that? Oh, Coves. Yeah, Coves were great. We played with them in Oshkosh, and just really, really talented band, and I was absolutely enjoying it.
Another good one is Broken Arrow.
See, I have not seen Broken Arrow.
I like those guys a lot.
I've not heard of Broken Arrow yet.
Yeah, I know. I know you and Manpay went to see him that one night, and you guys came. Both of them came back. We were all like, Broken Arrow.
Yeah. We're like wearing hats. And I asked if they had merch. And
they had like the arrow through the head thing on. Broken. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other younger bands. Those guys definitely for sure. Think of any of the other younger bands? Those are the ones. Those are really the ones that come to mind for sure. You know, but yeah, both of them.
If you're a younger band, go on our Facebook page or Instagram page and send us a message
And berate us for not saying your name if we played with you and forgot. Sorry.
But Shelby agrees that Broken Arrow is awesome.
See, yeah. Shelby knows.
Yeah. So people can check you guys out in Green Bay in a couple weeks, and then Mile of Music on the Saturday and Sunday, venues and times to be announced. Where can people go and find the new album and the new video?
The new video is up on YouTube right now, and then the new album will be up on Spotify.
Yeah, we're going to put that up in Spotify here soon. We just got to wait for that. I had some issues, but Bandcamp is a way that you can hear the new album. It's a pre-mastered version of it. We'll update that for the... we have a CD version as well that can only be purchased at our shows at this point.
Yeah.
Or if you really want one, of course, we'll sell you one in the back of Travis's van.
Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, Smile Music, you're going to be pimping the merch, I hope.
Oh, yeah. Everything. We have 3 different types of T-shirts. We got stickers. We got koozies.
You said 3 different types of T-shirts.
3 different types of shirts. Yeah, we're really going for it. I got a little suitcase that I burned our Devil's Burning Bush, I call it. It's a burning whiskey bottle, French Irish Coalition on it. I put it on upside down by mistake. So yeah, you can if you see that suitcase, that's where you can buy the merch.
Last question for you. What was the best stop of the Tennis Lords tour?
I'm going St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis is fantastic.
St. Louis or Dusty's.
St. Louis and Minneapolis, I would say a couple reasons. Like Dusty's is great just because the people, and we love the Mad Mojo Jet and Cindy Lawson, and
we had a lot of friends show up.
Yeah, and a group of Belarusian immigrants came to see Pavel, and Pavel actually got to sit in like a '71 Mustang and stuff. It was pretty great. It was awesome, and Pavel's amazing. I was so excited. I've got a picture of him hugging the car. I ended up being some guy's armchair therapist about his wife. I don't know. Shots of Schnefka were taken. St. Louis was fantastic because Amanda's brothers blow me away every time I see him, and it was free stag beer. And
stag beer only exists in Missouri.
The Missouri-Nebraska, I think that's what they said.
PBR, but it's just got a picture of like a deer on it.
It's made by PBR, but yes, those were the 2 stops: CBGB in St. Louis and Dusty's in Minneapolis, both DIY venues. Yeah, they were both great. Had a great time at both of them, and had a great time everywhere. But those 2 stops were they were standouts for sure.
All right, a couple more comments here. Andrew Summers from Tuck. He just joined. He wanted to know where and when is the GB show.
July 14th at the Tarlton Theater.
We got the information is on our website too, www.frenchirishcoalition.com.
And Les Mayer, if I'm saying that right.
Oh,
Les.
Les. These 2 are the only ones that have ever made me think about the real possibility of a menage a trois. Nice.
That means
that's French.
I want to thank you guys for coming in and doing this again, and I look forward to seeing you guys play at Mile of Music. People should go check out the new album and go watch the video, which recaps your tour, I think, wonderfully. Any parting words?
Thanks for having us. Thanks for for everybody listening. We finally made it over 1,000 on Spotify, so that's pretty sweet. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep on talking in the free world.
Keep on rock and roll. Yeah. Inspired with music. We sold our souls for rock and roll.